So here we have a very interesting clip from the Atheist Experience, dating back from May 31st, 2020, when show hosts Don Baker and Matt Dillahunty have a conversation with a theist caller whose name is Andrew. And in this episode of the Atheist Experience, show host Don Baker calls the Christian God an invisible mass murderer. Let's listen to that.
Go ahead, Don.
Why do I need forgiveness from an invisible mass murderer?
Now, of course, calling the Christian God an invisible mass murderer sounds a bit blunt and not very pleasant, to put it mildly. And as would be expected, the theist caller Andrew does not agree with that way of describing his God.
Why do you need forgiveness?
From an invisible mass murderer.
Okay. If you want to view God as an invisible mass murderer, you can. That's your choice. But that's not who he is.
But then something very interesting happens. Matt Dillahunty steps in to dissect Don's description of the Christian God in a very systematic and factual way. He first asks the theist caller if his God, in his own opinion, is visible.
Really?
Can we?
Is he visible?
Does God exist, Andrew?
What's that?
Does God exist?
I believe he does.
Is he visible?
No, he is not.
Now, that is a very remarkable predicament, but as soon as it happens, we all know where this is going, and so does the theist caller, Andrew. Of course, the Christian God is not visible, and Andrew, although rather reluctantly, has to acknowledge that. So that covers the invisible part of Don's description of the Christian God. So if we now could establish that the Christian God has killed many people, then that would cover the mass murderer part of Don's description. And of course, Matt Dillahunty is going to walk that path.
Has he killed people? Lots and lots and lots of people.
Now halfway, the theist caller Andrew realizes that this is going south for him. So he attempts to dodge the question by phrasing an irrelevant counter-question.
Does God have the ability to give life?
Do you believe that God killed lots and lots of people?
Do you believe that God has the ability to give life?
Do you believe that God killed lots and lots of people? I don't believe that God exists. I don't believe he has the ability to give life. I'm asking you, you believe that God exists. You believe he's not visible. Do you believe that he killed lots and lots of people?
Yes.
And then, of course, we already know that Andrew's plea is collapsing and that he has to admit that even he himself, being a theist, believes that his God killed many people. The Bible is paved with instances in which God kills many people. According to the Bible, during the deluge, God flooded the whole world, drowning almost the entire population of the planet. But since murder is a legally defined concept that implies a preconceived plan, Matt and Don settle for invisible mass slaughterer.
So, when Don calls him an invisible mass murderer, everything that you just agreed to affirms that, right?
Not murder.
Oh, why is it not murder? Oh, it's because murder is a specific legal construct and not just killing. So Don should have said an invisible mass slaughterer.
Yep, I stand corrected.
But looking back at this discussion, one could even argue if it was needed for Don and Matt to scale back, because that would only be necessary if the Christian God, according to Christians, never ever had a preconceived plan to kill people. You see, that is what defines murder. Now, if, according to Christians, God killed many, many people, but he never had a preconceived plan for that, then an entirely new problem would arise. It would mean that, according to Christians, God kills people on a whim. Is that what Christians believe? In all the instances in which God killed many, many people, it was not planned, but God just has a very short fuse and kills people spontaneously. So that would mean God has no control over himself? I can hardly imagine that Christians believe that. Well, if you are a Christian and you're watching this video, I wonder what you think about this matter. Can you acknowledge that God killed many, many people, for example, during the deluge? And was that God's preconceived plan? Or was it perhaps an unplanned kind of spontaneous killing spree? Both of them sound pretty awful to me. But perhaps you can put this in another perspective, so thanks for watching and I would love to hear your comments.